D.STREET의 김비터입니다. 오늘은 이더리움의 창시자이자 굉장히 유명한 블록체인 인사인 비탈릭 부테린과 함께 인터뷰를 가지는 시간을 준비했습니다. 오늘 가지는 얘기가 여러분들에게 많은 도움이 되기를 기대하겠습니다. 그러면은 비탈릭 소개를 잠깐 들어볼까요? Would you introduce yourself?
Hello, I'm Vitalik. Nice to meet you.
뭐 더 이상 말이 필요 없겠죠. 그러면 이제 지금 이더리움은 굉장히 여러 가지 많은 변화를 지금 준비하고 있고 여러 많은 개선과 업그레이드를 진행되고 있는 상태인데요. 그래서 많은 궁금증이 있습니다. 그 질문을 함께 얘기하면서 풀어보도록 하겠습니다. 지금 현재 이더리움 2.0의 업데이트 사항은 좀 어떻게 되고 있으신가요? 그리고 언제쯤 완료될 것으로 예상을 하고 있는지, 그리고 이더리움 2.0으로 업데이트가 되면 개발자 또는 사용자가 가장 체감할 수 있는 큰 변화는 어떤 게 있을지 말씀 부탁드리겠습니다.
So the Ethereum 2.0 is split into at least three phases. So phase 0 is just launching the chain with a proof of stake. Then phase 1 adds sharding, but just sharding of data. And phase 2 adds sharding for data and for computation. So phase 2 is when kind of all parts of the system are basically complete, but phase 0 is when the system starts running. Phase 0 is very close to being finished. And so a few weeks ago in Toronto, we had this workshop where the 7 engineering teams or the 7 different clients came together and they got the different implementations of the Ethereum 2 protocol to talk to each other. And it seems very close to having a public test network. So we're hoping to see the phase 0 launched very early next year. And phases 1 and 2 and if specification is very far along and kind of close to being finished, and development is also in progress. And we expect those phases to finish maybe near the end of the next year or a bit later, and we'll see. I guess the main thing that Ethereum 2.0 will change for people is that it will make the blockchain much more scalable, and so it will be much cheaper to use the blockchain. There will be room for many more transactions and many more different kinds of applications. And aside from that, proof of stake, I think, will increase the chain's security and also make it easier for users to connect to and verify the chain.
현재 블록체인 분야는 페이스북, 네이버, 카카오와 같은 대기업이 진행하고 있는 프로젝트가 있고, 그리고 비트코인, 이더리움과 같이 아예 바닥부터 시작한 프로젝트가 있습니다. 이렇게 양극화되고 있는데요. 페이스북의 리브라를 어찌 보면 대기업이 진행하는 프로젝트의 대표적인 사례로 볼 수 있습니다. 이 리브라가 이더리움과 비교했을 때 어떤 장단점이 있을지 평가를 부탁드리겠습니다.
I think there's things that Libra and possibly other projects created by big companies in the future that have that Ethereum and Bitcoin don't have. So for example, they have immediate access to existing sets of more than 1 billion users, and so they can get adoption very quickly in this way. But Bitcoin and Ethereum and these other decentralized projects also have benefits that these more centralized systems do not have. And the main benefit is basically that I think it's only the decentralized systems that can really succeed at convincing people that they actually are neutral platforms and that they are kind of a level playing field for anyone from any country, large and small, and that no kind of entity inside the protocol has any special privilege. And I think even in the case of Libra, they've had challenges of convincing people that they're not Facebook coin. I think centralized projects can have advantages just because they have existing kind of users and existing companies that they can build off of. Their disadvantages mean that they cannot replace, and it's impossible for them to replace the decentralized projects completely. So, and I think like going forward, we'll see like some of both kinds continue to exist.
다오라고 불리는 탈중앙화 자율조직이 다시 지금 블록체인 업계에서 관심을 받고 있습니다. 이더리움 2.0에 다오를 위한 새로운 계획이 혹시 포함되어 있습니까? 구체적인 설명을 부탁드릴게요.
So Ethereum, the blockchain, is kind of too low level to like include features for very specific applications. Right? Like Ethereum and Ethereum 2.0 are general purpose programming platforms. And so like the platforms themselves like don't understand like what crowdfunding is or what DAOs are or what oracles are or what domain name systems are or any of these applications. Those are things that need to be built on top. But I do think there are many new technologies being built in parallel to Ethereum 2.0 that can make building DAOs much easier. So one example of this is just improvements in usability and safety of programming languages. Like Solidity, for example, has seen many improvements like after the original DAO hack. And I created a new language called Viper that also includes many security features. And I know other languages are being built as well. Another example of something that could be good for DAOs is the privacy features that I talked about in many places. And like the reason why privacy can be important for DAOs is that like if you try to analyze like any decentralized governance mechanism, then you realize that if everyone can see like everything about how everyone participated, the economics behind the mechanism break, right? So like even if we look at traditional like elections, for example, if everyone can see how you voted, then like people can punish you for voting a way they don't like, people can bribe you to vote some way that they do like, and so like elections would break very quickly. And like the wonderful thing about blockchains is how transparent they are. But in the case of DAOs, the fact that the code and the algorithm is transparent is very good. But the fact that every single action that happens is transparent can actually be a problem. And so I think technologies like in zero-knowledge proofs, multi-party computation, some of these other things that are happening right now can be kind of combined with blockchains to make DAOs that are more secure against these kinds of issues.
최근 한국 암호화폐 거래소들은 모네로, 대시, 지캐시와 같은 프라이버시 코인들의 거래를 중단하고 있습니다. 이는 국제 자금 세탁 방지 기구의 가이드라인에 따른 것으로 보이는데요. 프라이버시 코인이 이 국제 질서와 세계 평화에 위협을 가하는 존재라고 혹시 생각을 하십니까? 암호화폐 거래소들의 이 프라이버시 코인의 거래 중단을 어떻게 생각하고 있는지요?
And I actually think that people like aren't kind of thinking through the consequences of what like everyone using public blockchains without any concept of privacy would be. So like basically if people use cryptocurrencies for payments and there's no privacy provision at all, then like everyone can see what your payments are. Like foreign governments can see like what other people's payments are. Like everyone like the U.S. government would see what the payments of people in China are. The Chinese government would see what payments of people in the United States are, and so I actually think that a world where like every single kind of activity that you do is something that like you don't just do for yourself, you also like have to do as a kind of show for the whole world is like a world that's kind of very bad in ways that people kind of often don't realize, like because like we do still have a lot of privacy now, and it's reducing a bit on the internet. And like, for example, on the internet, like you can sometimes like look at things people said 15 years ago and like make scandals out of them, and this is like already kind of creating friction now. I understand the concerns, like I understand the issues that fully anonymous cryptocurrencies can have, and like I think there is a lot of definitely need for like some kinds of regulatory measures, but I guess it's important to kind of avoid like both extremes. Like I think the extreme where like there is like no privacy in a coin like also has a lot of problems, and like the extreme where like basically everything that people do is not transparent also has like very huge problems. And so I think it's good to try your best to avoid both of them.
이더리움도 프라이버시 코인과 같은 기능을 지원하려고 하고 있죠.
So, I mean, the thing that we already have right now is just like there's some simple application where you can put in 0.1 Ether. It gives you like, it's only one denomination, like put in 0.1 Ether to an address that cannot be directly linked. And like once again, like that application like doesn't give people like any superpowers to do scary things. It actually kind of gives them back the privacy that they already have on the internet, right? Because without this application, like basically every piece of activity that you have can be kind of like can be linked to each other. And with this, like you can at least kind of create a new account that's not connected to your other accounts. And so like people can't automatically say like, oh, this Ethereum account that purchased a ticket to this conference also like has 200 units of Maker and sold 100 units of Maker for Kyber on July 23rd on Uniswap. And so like especially when you look at non-financial applications, I think there's clearly like a need for kind of more than there exists right now. And like also the other kind of use case that I mentioned is like governance mechanisms, where like even like existing national elections, like we don't think about it, but we're like it would break if there isn't like the level of privacy that there exists right now. Yeah, and I definitely recognize that it's a very complicated question.
한국에서는 여전히 블록체인 산업에 대한 관심이 높습니다. 블록체인, 암호화폐에 대한 한국의 높은 관심을 어떻게 평가를 하십니까?
And I've been very happy to see the high level of technical quality of, like, for example, the presentations at the Seoul Ethereum meetups. Yeah, it seems like there's a lot of good economic research, a lot of good projects, good layer 2 projects. And people seem to kind of understand well like how the technology behind blockchains works. I think there's definitely an opportunity to build like many like valuable and good things here. I think continue to kind of grow and support the community.
Community is very important.
Yeah, community really is important. It's people need to kind of feel like they're part of something that exists like in the real world and not just like something that they can sometimes see on the internet. Projects just need to support each other. We need to support kind of new people that are just looking to get into Ethereum space.
How do you think about language support? For example, Korean, Japanese, in Ethereum project.
Actually, the Ethereum website is currently in the process of adding support for translations in many languages. So we have Chinese and Korean are the first two that we have, and then we're adding about 10 other languages very soon. There's also, in some cases, independent local communities that either do translations or do their own independent materials. It's definitely something that we've started paying a lot more attention to, and I think we're definitely open to kind of continuing to find more ways to help communities in different languages and talk to each other and see the things that the others are building and writing.
예, 지금까지 이더리움의 창시자 비탈릭 부테린과 여러 많은 얘기를 나눠봤습니다. 굉장히 많은 얘기를 해줬죠. 커뮤니티 지원과 그리고 한국에서 어떻게 하면은 이제 블록체인에서 좀 더 앞으로 나아갈 수 있을지에 대한 조언도 같이 준 것 같은데 지금 나눈 내용이 여러분들에게 많은 도움이 됐으면 좋겠습니다. 지금까지 시청해주셔서 감사합니다. 땡큐.
감사합니다.
감사합니다. 네.